Welcome back to the Tractor Time with Tim Dream Shop Build. We're making great progress and the building has really taken shape. If you're just joining us, we're building a large shop and office addition to our home. Today we're going to focus mainly on applying the roofing and siding. This is day 7 of the overall build and we're seeing them run across that roof with the bubble wrap. Now of course the bubble wrap is just an underlayment for the actual roof, but in and around the facility it's a dramatic change. This bubble wrap has a reflective layer on the top and it also has just a little bit of insulation value, and this helps to reduce or hopefully eliminate condensation. Rain is predicted, and so the guys want to try to get at least this bubble wrap covering on the top. They're getting the house wrap installed on the west side of the building as well as the north side. And David's getting started on the windows here. We've talked about the size and location of these windows in prior episodes, and we ended up with this 2 pairs approach. The gap in the middle is just a little bit bigger than the gap between each of those in the pairs. That was a compromise to work around the post locations, but I think it looks great.
I'm a little conflicted about the house wrap. When I was going to do closed cell spray foam, they insisted, or most people insist, that you do house wrap because the closed cell will tend to stick to the steel. And also while you're applying it, it's really hot and it can deform the steel. But my spray foam guy that's going to use open cell spray foam says that that's not the case with their particular foam. It doesn't get that hot when you apply it, number one. And number two, you can remove the steel away from the spray foam and replace steel right back on top of it. So I believe, honestly, this is a waste of money. The spray foam was going to totally seal it, so there really is no value in the house wrap. At the same time, the Amish builder did not have confidence, okay? So he says that he's essentially giving me the house wrap because if he has to come replace steel, he doesn't trust that he'll be able to get it off that open cell installation. So it's fascinating to me to see the, the prior experience and how that plays into people's decisions. A lot of times there's old wives' tales and so if somebody has a product that works a little bit different, it's hard to convince everybody, right, that it's going to work.
Now it's time for the first of the steel to go up, and quite frankly, the location of my pallet racking created quite a challenge for the team. They used my forklift and their telehandler to lift up the material, but the telehandler was just almost not able to make the turn. And my forklift wouldn't lift high enough to get that roofing over the eave. I'm not sure why, but watching them slide down this roof intentionally gives me a little bit of pucker factor. Once they get going, it doesn't take them long at all to do this side of the roof. But while navigating that telehandler in the tight space, they damaged some of the steel and have to order some more. I think they have 5 or 6 sheets left, so they'll install those and then we'll have to wait on more. And that's just one example of why this siding and roofing installation happens over several days rather than happening all at once. Another example is how they shifted to the house side of the roof while waiting for the new trusses to come. They were able to roof most of the house, but they couldn't roof all of it because we're waiting on the office space to be built. Still, by the end of day 7 here, we're in a pretty good position to be able to deal with rain.
It's Friday of week number 2, and we're getting our first glimpse of 2 different things here. One, the lighter colored clay is the name siding here that's going to be on the side for most of the building. We're also getting a view of how high the wainscoting is going to be. Now it's going to be that same dark color that we have on the roof of everything, right? The house, as well as the shop.
I'm missing a lot of this because I'm working with Dave and Ryan to pour that concrete under the big door. You can find that full episode in our 2025 TTWT Dream Shop Build playlist. Using these pre-cut sheets makes the installation go very quickly, and the other benefit is that they're all factory cut, meaning they look perfectly clean and straight, no wrinkles or mistakes induced by on-site cutting. Here's a close-up of the trim used between the main siding and the wainscoting. The rough cut on the siding there will be covered by a corner trim piece. We chose a more expensive screw that has a skirt which wraps around the neoprene. This is supposed to prevent the damage to the neoprene via UV rays, etc. The Amish team had never used these before, and they're not eager to use them again. They have a hard time holding them in their screw gun. Something works differently about them. From this angle, you can see that the house side of the shop has no house wrap. They really can't start any of that siding work until the connector office is built. But with only 1 day turnaround on the roof, they're able to get the steel on, and they're getting a good start on the trim. The ridge cap provides a nice finishing touch. They have sticky foam on each side of the ridge cap to prevent the wind from blowing water up under the cap, therefore preventing a leak into the shed. As we get started with day 9, you can see the evidence of all the different projects going on at the same time. Notice the other part of the roof of the house is gone. The I-joists are in the office section. We've got an entire episode on that. Meanwhile, more siding and trim being applied to the house. But at this point, the construction of that office seems to be holding up everything else. So there's not much steel work going on today. Most of the team, as you can see, is focused on this framing task. Again, we have an entire episode showing the details of this. I love watching the framing come together. Now, as we get to day 10, we get back to some roof construction. Take note of how this roof is going together differently. The trusses are 2 foot apart, and we're adding 3/4 inch OSB sheathing directly to those trusses. And this is an important distinction. On the shop, the purlins run horizontally, perpendicular to the roofing. The 2 foot truss spacing parallel to the roofing doesn't allow the roofing to be attached properly. The sheathing provides a place to land those screws. Here we are on day 11. We've got a couple guys working on trim around the garage door. Who needs a ladder?
This part is a lot slower because they have to take so much care with it.
Yeah, the trim work does go slowly, but I really enjoy seeing it go up because it makes the building look much better. I'm kind of happy to see this on video because I missed it in real time. Because Emmanuel and I were working on the posts for the mezzanine. We've had an entire episode on the mezzanine construction, starting with these posts. But today we're focusing on all the other projects going on. Notice there's framing still going on around the house portion up there. The garage door trim, as we saw. And as we spin around here, we see that John with I-beam doors is here on that same day. This is one of several days in this project so far where I just feel pulled in many different directions, trying to make quick decisions to help keep everyone productive.
Putting steel on the front of the building. My forklift's hardly tall enough. It'll reach 15 feet. It's not going to work in the peak up there. I don't know exactly how they're going to handle that.
Getting all the wrapping on the back side of the shop today. That is not OSHA approved, but you know.
I asked why they used a different brand of house wrap for top and bottom. Well, it turns out it's just different width. The Tyvek is 8 foot wide and the Pro Wrap is 10 foot wide.
Windows are going in. That's the only window on the back side, and they're putting the channel up for the wainscoting. Wainscot, I don't know. Feels like it's gonna be hot and steamy today. For my North Carolina friends, hot here. It's like 77 today. You guys are probably 95. The door trim is in, the threshold, and the door.
Only one window on the back side of the office portion is because we have a restroom and a closet spanning the rest of that wall. Earlier I mentioned that they had to defer the siding on this particular wall of the shop, waiting on the office to be completed. Well, The office is finished now, so back to siding the shop. The big areas go super fast, only the trim slows them down. Here we are on day 13. The big areas of siding are all done, but lots of trim work remains.
Izzy's your buddy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Working on all the trim around the roof today. Soffit, J-trim.
Christy and I spend a lot of time cleaning up. These guys will get around to it eventually, but it's just something we can do and maybe save them a little time. Lots of days we would work a couple of hours after they left just doing some cleanup. Here's a look after they have the soffits done and the garage door trim done on the barn. Wow, it really looks nice to me. What do you think of these colors? We did not choose the trendy colors of black, charcoal, and white, mainly because we're trying to match up nicely with our house. We found it very difficult to finalize the color decisions. The burnished slate, the darker color, is offered in a frosted version. Same color, but a little bit of texture. We really like the looks of it, but the clay is not offered with that same texture, with that same frosted option. We thought maybe having one frosted and one plain wouldn't look so good, so we ended up with both plain. Speaking of plain, here on day 14, I was finally able to get the land plane out and repair this driveway. It was kind of embarrassing. Check out our full episode on this as well. Here comes another coordination issue. I'm not going to call it a mistake. I'm just going to call it a lack of coordination. All of this wood framing is being inserted into the door so that the screw lines match up on the outside. The girts on the wall are at a different spacing than the aluminum framing on the door. I should have asked for one more aluminum beam. This would have allowed for consistent spacing with the girts and wainscoting rail. So if you're considering the I-beam door, make that extra request. Day 15, we're going to shift gears a little bit and work on the dock roof. Many of you have been asking about this. It's been our plan all along to have the dock roof be consistent with the house and shop. The Amish team agreed to do this roof several months ago, and even back then they said that they wouldn't specifically buy any roofing for this project. Instead, they would see what they had left over. Due to a mistake on the office truss lengths, they have plenty of roof left over. The team wanted to do this on a hot day, and then they wanted to intentionally slide off the roof into the pond. Turns out it's pretty tipsy that high up. Dave here's trying to see if he can get it to turn over. I think we would need to detach the gangway to make that happen.
He's trying. Might mess up our concrete, though.
Now it's day 16.
And it's decided it's going to rain. Comes Dave. Dave's getting rid of this dirt pile that was here. I think they're getting ready to put up the walls inside the mezzanine. Some of the girts are going on for the wash bay walls. And it's dark in here. We're gonna need to get some light.
At this point, they have most of the exterior work done, which works well with this rainstorm. This has been quite a rainy spring, and we lost probably 2 days of work early on.
Well, today is door day. Man door, that is. So between the shed and the office will be a white door. That one needs to be cleaned. White on both sides for this one. Not much else has been done inside the office. Inside the office will be white. Outside will be that burnished slate.
It's beginning to look more like the renderings that we first proposed. We thank you guys for following along so far, and we'd be honored if you continue to follow until we get to the finish line. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. May there be peace within your walls and security within your citadels.
Well, hi, Izzy. There you are. Morning, kitty. You like the office? Maybe I'll let you in the office. Maybe, maybe not.